Are you lost with no place to call home in society? Do you wonder what it truly means to be a human? And are you in dire need of cash? If your answer to these questions are yes, have no more worries, I have the best deal for you. Visit Manabu Clinics for a small trepanation surgery and unlock your sixth sense. After the surgery, you will be receiving 700,000 yen. Call today. Disclaimer: side effects may include seeing monsters. Guys, don't actually call no goddamn Manabu Clinics. If it exists in real life, I could get in trouble for it, okay? So before we continue, this video contains spoilers. If you want to check out the manga yourself, it's called Homunculus. But before you go, I'll have to warn you. This manga is fucked, so read it at your own risk. So let's move on to the story. On one side, there is a luxurious hotel with extravagant people focused only on vanity. On the other, a park full of homeless people who were tossed away by society. And in the middle of these two exists a man stuck between these two worlds, literally and mentally. This man is called Susumu Nakoshi, a man who has only two things left, an old junk car and his fancy suit. He's not too different from the hobos in the park, but because of his car, he deludes himself into being superior. His only escape from his grim situation is his car rides. He might be able to shoulder an empty stomach, but not an empty gas tank. So one day, while his money is running low and his gas is on E, he gets approached by an interesting individual. Yo, buddy. Yeah, roll that window down. You're looking low on shekels. I can fix that. If you would be interested in a small surgery involving a drill, you can get some money. It's nothing serious, just a small hole in your skull. Okay, man, your loss. So he rejects, and that's the end of it, right? Yeah, not at all. His car gets towed. The next day, his safe haven is taken away from him. So in this shocked state, he sees the same person that had an offer for him last night. What kind of job is that? It ain't murdering, is it? No, nothing illegal. You'll be getting 700,000 yen for a very small and simple stop. We need to talk. So they go to the hotel right across the street for a little meal and a chat. Fine, I'll do it. Why the change of heart? Wasn't it you who towed my car? Bingo. That's the distrust I was looking for. So after accepting, Nakoshi still has some questions. Who the fuck are you and why are you doing this? My name is Manabu. Age 22. I'm a medical student. My father runs a large brain surgery hospital. I'm a rich boy. And the reason for me doing this is because I just want to know about humans. So as Nakoshi puts it, he's just a human otaku. So after some chit chat, they go for this very humane and small surgery in hopes of Nakoshi gaining some sort of power. And after some trials and errors, they realize he can see things more clearly while using his left side of his brain. Or to be more precise, he can see a human's trauma in monster form. These monsters are called homunculi, which is a concept that exists in real life, just like the trepanation surgery, and some people back in the day even believed it could grant spiritual powers and cure headaches. Hey, Nakoshi don't need no ibuprofen no more, and I like that about this manga. No, not the goddamn fact that it exposes Big Pharma. I like the way hyperreality is used in it. And yes, I did just Google that word. This shit above my pay grade, man. Why am I using such big words? So this hyperreality thingy creates this really immersive experience for this manga. But I don't know if you want to be that immersed into this story, and we'll get into it when the time comes. So I know you still have some questions on your mind, like how does he use his powers? And to answer that, we need to go to his first encounter with a homunculus. Whoops, sorry. What? So he bumps into this big Yakuza dude who's famous for taking pinkies. His homunculi is a big robot. Or it seems that way at first glance. When he tries to cut Nakoshi's pinky, a little child wielding a sickle cutting his own finger emerges from the robot. And their first conversation goes like this. I'm gonna cut your pinky. Stop crying, little boy. I'm gonna cut your pinky. Stop crying, little boy. I'm going to do it. Stop crying. Wah. Then he calls him a punk and leaves. But the next day his goons catch Nakoshi and they have a conversation. And during this conversation, after some sus moments, they get into the bottom of the story. And it gets revealed to us that when this Yakuza dude was a kid, he cut his friend's pinky on accident. But because it was such a traumatic experience, he buried it deep in his mind, which is a phenomenon that happens in real life, and it is called dissociative amnesia. So when he remembers his trauma, he realizes the only reason for becoming who he is today is this one single experience and the way he coped with it. His method of coping was to delude himself into being a person that is able to hurt others or take their pinkies. But after understanding his trauma through Nakoshi, he chops off his own pinky in order to make peace with his past and abandon his Yakuza life. After these first few volumes, I was so hyped. I'm like, finally Nakoshi can get his life back together and become one of those scammers that take your money and talk to you. What do you guys call it in the West? Oh yeah, a therapist. And I was really cheering for bro. I'm like, yeah, this dude seems a bit odd, but he's wholesome. He's helping people. Nice, this is a wholesome story. Yeah, then I read the next few volumes.
No. Wait.
Dog, what the fuck did you get me into? I don't know if I can take any more not eating, dog. I ain't got much more in me. Yeah, those panels you saw was him drinking his own milk, for lack of a better term. Which isn't even the worst thing he does in that volume. He forces himself on a minor to get rid of her homunculus, and that's where I was like, yeah, this is way too disgusting, I'm dropping it. But I didn't, because the friend who recommended it to me praised the fuck out of this manga, so I stuck with it, which turned out to be a good decision. As soon as I threw away the preconceived notion of the main character being a good guy, this manga became so much better, which was really hard for me to do, by the way. I have never read a manga like this. But there isn't a single rule that says, oh, the MC can't be a psychopathic narcissist, right? Plus, I really knew nothing about this guy. Why is my bitch ass even cheering for him? I guess my brain is way too shonen coded. Like, sure, he helped the Yakuza dude, and he did make the high school girl's homunculus disappear. But at what price? You chera! You pig. Sorry, got a little heated in there, but as I was saying, the more I saw of Nakoshi's past, the more I realized he has always been a narcissistic psycho. It's not that the Frep Nation changed him, it just gave him another avenue to abuse his power in. Before becoming homeless, he was a rich dude with a really good job, driving Porsches and sleeping around with ladies. But it was all for show. He didn't have any feelings for these ladies, and neither did they. They just wanted his luxurious gifts, and he just wanted their bodies. It was all an exchange. He might have been the dude who was looking down on the homeless from his fancy hotel, but in reality, he didn't have much more than them. The only time he had something real, someone that really wanted him for who he was, not for his status or money, he just left. He fucked it all up. And why? Because she was ugly? Come on, dog, like how bad could it be? Astaghfirullah, never mind, this brother did nothing wrong. But for real though, Nakoshi himself has been called ugly all his life. The least he could do would be having some empathy, but no. He makes his decision by giving in to society's beauty standards and goes for the I will make more money and sleep around the bunch angle, which he regrets later on when he realizes all the things he has at the top are fake. Even he has become fake at this point, so when he goes to the bottom, he tries to find his true self. And he does that through the homunculi. And if you pay close attention, he never says I want to help these people, he just says I want to make the homunculus disappear. Which he doesn't even do, by the way. He makes them understand their homunculus, but they themselves are the main reason for it to disappear. Nakoshi didn't cut the Yakuza dude's finger, he himself made his peace. Meanwhile, Nakoshi has the same traumas. Does he ever do anything to address them? Fuck no. But at one point, he comes very close to at least having peace with it, and that is when the homunculus are gone. But after seeing the only person who accepted him be the single remaining homunculus, he loses it. He believes there is something wrong, the homunculus should be back. So instead of accepting that the homeless bros and Manabu see him as he is, he does a complete 180 and drills another hole in his head to understand Nanako, who took a very similar path to Nakoshi after being abandoned by him. So after some encounters, at first she sees him as a demon, but after witnessing the extent of Nakoshi's power, she gets mesmerized by it and gets together with him again, but not for his true self this time. She is just as lost as Nakoshi, so to Nanako, Nakoshi seems like an enlightened being, as she has the closest story to Nakoshi. So in their delusions, Nanako accepts to become like Nakoshi by letting him drill a hole into her skull. And they do all that so they can both see each other's true selves. Nakoshi tried to understand all these past homunculi to find his true self, and after finding it, it was never enough for him. He needed someone else to see it as well. And that unfortunate someone turned out to be Nanako. So after they are done drilling, they go for another round of drilling with no drills, if you catch my drift. I need to fucking end it. And the following scenes were the weirdest ones in this manga. While they were doing their business, Nakoshi sees Nanako as himself and Nanako sees Nakoshi as herself. And Nakoshi is happy about this. He's like, finally, you show your true self. You were never a monster. You were me. Why did you not show yourself earlier? Not knowing he's become the fucking monster. But Nanako doesn't see that like Nakoshi. She's like, wait, that's not me. Yeah, well, it is way too late to have regrets now. In the following scene, Nakoshi leaves to get some food, but Nanako starts bleeding out of her hole, and that is the last time we see her. And I meant the hole on her skull. I know you're a freakazoid, so let me just clarify that. But that is not the end for Nakoshi. After the Nanako incident, almost everyone has his face, with the exception being Manabu, who he encounters a year later. And at this point, Nakoshi has become so unhinged that he sees that as a problem, and he tries to fix it with a good old-fashioned drill. He is that obsessed with his true self being seen. He tried that shit on Nanako, it didn't work out. Well, he just moves on to Manabu. And Manabu is kind of okay with it, as he holds himself accountable for Nakoshi's situation, which he shouldn't. Nakoshi's always been a psycho. But luckily, as soon as Nakoshi tries to pull the trigger, the cops arrive. And that is the ending of this manga. But before I end this video, I would like to talk about hyperreality and its role in this manga. As you read this manga, you don't know what is real or fake, because we mostly see things from Nakoshi's point of view, who is a psychotic narcissist with a hole in his head, so it's not the best POV to have. He could or could not have powers. All these monsters could be delusions of a madman, and that is an insanely unique way of storytelling. In a sense, it makes you work for answers, and at the end of it, you're still very much unsure of what just happened. If I had one word to describe this manga, that word would be uncertainty. And I would like to clarify, I'm a shonen spamming Neanderthal, so if I got anything wrong, feel free to correct me, as I don't read stuff like this ever. Overall, I think it's a really good manga, although very disgusting at times. Like, I would be happy with nuking volumes 3 through 6. I'm a squeamish fella, and that shit was way too much for me. So no more horror mangas until I recover from this. You know what, I think after I'm done with this video I should call one of those scammers that I talked about. Yeah, I think I'll just do that. Yeah, I think I should.